Hey you, it's Monday, 2nd of September, 3rd of September, something like that. Yeah, 2nd. How are you doing? I hope you're doing alright. I've been having a little bit of a tough time lately, but you know, we've all got our cross to bear, as it were. And I'm driving around London this morning on a bit of an emergency job. This restaurant fridge went down last night, and they've thrown away a huge amount of food, like one of those massive like refuse collection bins full of chicken, full, like 300 kilograms, maybe 400 kilograms of chicken. That's just appalling. It's not actually that wrecked. That's, you know, I mean, if you could eat it now, I've taken a little bit home actually. If you could eat it now or put it in the freezer, but you know, they got health and safety rules that go, no, we got to throw that all away. Bring us some fresh stuff, it'll cost money and you deliver it. Anyway, that's just one of the crazy things. I'm driving around, and when I drive around London, I get a bird's eye view of people, really, and of lots of mud flood evidence, but you know, buildings under half submerged, and I'm driving past a bunch of them now. I would turn the camera around, but because I'm filming this on my camera, I can't turn it around while I'm filming without stopping the filming. But I'm going to title this video Flat Earth, Why Does It Matter? Or Why It Matters. Because, you know, I put my head into the Globe Light Tour the other day, and I heard that old question come up again. Why does it matter? Roxanne was having a bit of a ding-dong with somebody. Why does it matter? And the thing is, a lot of people might say that why does it matter? Not really thinking, well, definitely not thinking deeply about the implications of it. And oftentimes, or sometimes, you know, people are sitting pretty in their little life, you know, they've kind of got what they need, and their family are around them, and they've got a bit of money in their pocket or whatever. And so they're not too vexed by that question of why it matters. You know, I'm comfortable, don't trouble me, you know, I don't need to bother. My sisters are like this, pretty much. My dad is like this. Just stole it. And when I walk around, drive around London, and I see, not just London, but I see the degree to which our brothers and sisters are nobbled, are increasingly damaged, disabilities, obesity, all sorts of things. And actually, and something that struck me again this morning was the number of blokes walking around, some ladies, but mostly men, walking around with the huge headphones on, the sunglasses on, the electronic cigarette, and you know, they're totally like absorbing unnatural energy, unnatural frequencies. We all know the music is at 440 hertz, and some of the music we listen to today is absolutely horrible for the system. You know, I was in a park yesterday with Alexander and this family, and it was 4 or 5 adults. There was 5 adults, and 4 of the adults had on their sunglasses. Increasingly I see children, you know, parents who think they're super cool and doing the very best for their children, no doubt. But they are putting their children in sunglasses. So, you know, is not the sun the most important source of energy and life here? So why are we increasingly blocking ourselves off from it? I would suggest to you that even the frequencies that are in the ether are extremely useful for us, or helpful for us. But we're increasingly cancelling out as much noise as we can from the exterior world, and filling our heads with 440 hertz and other sorts of things. And who knows what these e-cigarettes, the electronic cigarettes, are doing to people. You know, I'm not a proponent of cigarette smoking as it is, but you know, given all the stuff they put in the regular cigarettes. But again, I think it's about fucking with us. You know, it is. How can we trust anything that the system puts out? Any history, any science, any you know. So I'm not saying, oh, I don't trust any science whatsoever, but I don't take it at face value. I don't say, okay, well then, you know, that must be absolutely, as I used to, that must be absolutely right. But when it comes to why does it matter? It matters because even if you're sitting pretty, you're one of those people who feels like they've got their shit together. You know, you're part of a human story, or this plain story. You know, this place that we're in is being sickened, and you know, I could say, oh well, I'm quite fit, you know, so why should I give a shit about people who are not fit? It's the same kind of schoolboy selfish logic that would go, well, I don't care because I've got money in the bank, I shouldn't care about poor people. And all I see is more and more broken people. When I used to work in local government, we back in the sort of 90s, they implemented or introduced a part of the Disability Discrimination Act. They implemented this sort of free access to all buildings rule, where buildings had to go to any lengths or whatever lengths they could to provide ramping and so on to access their buildings. And you know, on the face of it, it's like, yeah, that's cool, because you know, we want to encourage employers to you know, bring in disabled people into their workforce and you know, give them opportunities and so on. So if access to the building prevents that, then you can see why there's a value in that. But over the last few years, I've realized that actually the reason for it was less to do with the odd guy in a wheelchair as much as it is to do with them recognizing that the speed at which we are being sickened. Oh, there's a great mud flood. Wow. I'd love to take you on a little driving tour or whatever around some of these places and just, oh my Lord. It's like, what excuses people will come up with. But anyway, you know, just that people are being sickened at such a rate, such an alarming rate, that we're meant to, all of us have had a cancer of some sort in about 30 years' time. All of us. Or rather, that the statistic will be that every person will have a cancer in their lifetime in 30 years' time. It won't mean that everybody in 30 years' time will have had cancer, because I'm sure there's children being born today who won't yet have contracted their cancers. Some of these cancers, Andrew and I were speculating, are latent, are like delayed time fuse cancers that come from the vaccination programs. So just to bear that in mind. Not to say that you can't do anything about it. You know, of course we can chelate some of the poison out of our bodies. We can obviously try and stay alkaline much as possible, and try and mitigate some of the factors that are part of the sort of cancer mix. You know, there are it's generally more than two or three factors in concert that bring the cancer to fruition. Anyway, so the point being that it matters because we are, as a collective, as a whole, being brought low, and it's the selfish mind that goes, "I'm fine, Jack. I'm fine." Now, obviously, as you all know, if you already been down the road for a few months or years, as I have, that of this sort of truth unfolding, that actually, of course, it matters massively to your own personal soul journey that you see through the veil of deceptions, because of the richness that we've had robbed of us. It is a richness of soul, a richness of being. And first of all, you've got to realize that your master is no longer trustworthy, and this is where people are at, is that they don't want to. I want to jump on that tour bus and give them people some of my kind of thing, but they don't want to kind of recognize that actually it's not just because there's $52 million a day going on fucking NASA, right? I get so annoyed now when I hear people just going on and on and on about it's $52 million a day. Fucking get over the money. The money's fuck all. The money they can print like Monopoly. And the amount that an individual pays on that $52 million a day is pennies. So it doesn't really catch people's attention, I'm sorry to say. But I've been in the streets, so I'm kind of offering, even though I'm not on the tour, I'm offering a little bit of insight into go, or maybe it's not even about that. It's about people not being willing to recognize that actually it's the master that we've put above us. We've given away our sovereignty. I'm going under the Blackwall Tunnel now, under the Thames, so I won't lose signal because I'm pre-recording this, partly for that reason. But look at that lovely day out there. There are some interesting clouds and streaks and stuff going on in the sky, in the world above me this morning. But this is far more important than $52 million a day, and that is that the abdication of authority, the subjugation of sovereignty. How's that? That came out quite nicely. The subjugation of sovereignty, of your own sovereignty. That's the thing, And while we continue to squabble about, if we get the government to do this, or if we get them to recognize that, or whatever, it's fuck, people. Do you not realize that the whole system relies totally on there being this form of abdication of authority to another? And that's far more important than NASA and 52 million. It's far more important than that. It is your own divinity, your own sovereignty, your own power that is at stake here. It is your own sovereignty, your own power that is at stake here. And that's why it matters. I mean, once you start to, and I'm still clearing the cobwebs because, I've had an entire lifetime of being told what to do and so on, and that I should bow to or be at the behest of this system. So while you continue to say, look, all we need to do is get NASA to stop lying to us and give us back our $52 million, you're not really getting close to the truth of the who and the what and the why and so on, really, in my opinion. That's just a little bit like the kind of 9/11 thing. Was there planes, wasn't there planes, or whatever, All you're doing is squabbling over the nature of this in this reality, and this reality is designed, absolutely designed, for the purpose that it is carrying out. And my friends, the only way that if we imagine a world in which people are no longer being forced to live in cities, no longer being forced to give away their monies and taxes and so on, and penalties. I had 2 penalties last week. I earned no money last week on this driving job I do. I earned no money. It cost me money, and that was all time away from my little boy. The various stresses of driving around and trying to get the job done on time and whatnot. But this is the nature of this reality, and so I've said it before. You can't go and say, oh well, let's get them to include flat Earth theory as one of the subjects in the curriculum. We shouldn't be going to school, my friends. What are you talking about? Like there should be, if you were living in Eden, then what you should be teaching your children would be things about how to live well on the land, how to make the most of things on this, of themselves, not how to become, and I've just driven out of the city of London, so not to become puppets of the system or order followers of the system. But that's really where we come from, is we come from being order followers and abdicators of authority, subjugators of sovereignty. We actually start to do that because we subjugate. I see it all the time, man. The children are being subjugated by their parents so hard that this generation of babies that are coming through, if we have that long, but this little generation of babies that are coming through, once they get to my age, they will go to work wearing helmets in case they fall over. Not because any of them have fallen over in the last few months or years, but because one person fell over 6 months ago in somewhere, and because of that, health and safety rules have decreed. And because I see parents, they got kids pushing scooters along at 0 miles an hour, and they're right to the ground, but their parents have them wearing helmets. And oftentimes those helmets stay on while the children play in the playground, and this is an increase in the sort of fear, health and safety paradigm from 20 years ago when I was bringing Jess and Luke through the same kind of process. The older children through the same thing. It's already worse. And of course I have all the time children saying, why is that boy not wearing shoes? Or when we're playing in the river, you'll get mums going, no, you can't go in the river, only when you've got your Wellingtons on. They're only wearing trainers now, or some kind of other shoe other than Wellingtons. Oh, you can't take those in the river, and you certainly can't go barefoot. Everybody almost to a man and a woman is kind of ramping up this fear. And every time you say to a child, be careful, you rob them a little bit of their sovereignty, their own ability to kind of make decisions for themselves. And this is the soft preparation for, you need a government to manage you, and it's not because we don't trust you, but it's because there's that one person in 100 or in 1,000 who's going to be that one that we have warned you about. So for that reason, you don't mind giving up your sovereignty. Oh, and breathe with your mouth shut if you can help it. I just saw a bloke walking with his mouth open. He's just walking. Now, I know some people are so overweight they might need to breathe through their mouth, but nope. Dude with his flashing light on. Why? Blue light on his roof. Unmarked police car. Of course, you see a lot more of them around as well. So anyway, I just think that the reason it matters is because we are weakening ourselves. We are we are damaging ourselves month by month, year by year, as we go deeper and deeper into this process. Now, does the city ever go away? Does it ever relinquish its hold on people? I don't know, you know. And of course, I would love for it to be that it does, you know, it goes away and people eventually go back to Eden, as it were. But it has to go that way around. People have to go back to Eden. They have to choose something different before he's going to realize his blue light's on. Because people started getting out of his way. Oh shit, my light must be on. He's gone and switched it off. Lord above. Distilled glass bottle. Have a nice day. But yeah, while people don't care, while people go like, so what does it matter? What does it matter? I don't care. It's not important to me. While we're like that, it can't change. Of course it can't change. And telling people that there's $52 million a day, when I overheard a little Brexit bullshit on somewhere the other day, something to do with a $39 billion pound surcharge or charge that the UK apparently won't need to pay because Master Boris has said, no, we're not going to pay this anymore. It's all puppetry. But the point is that you'll still get people going, oh, 39 billion, which is a little bit more than the 50 million a day, I think. But that's 39 billion for little old UK, not 50 billion for 300 million Americans. 39 billion, and there will still be people going, yes, but we must stay in. We must keep paying this money, and we need our membership. We need our club. We need all the benefits that brings us, and so you know the money thing. The money thing isn't enough, and it almost sounds like just another political kind of argument. This is much more than politics or politricks. This is, you know, this is heart. This is the Trinity. This is the mind, body, and soul. You know, and the soul journey is imperative. And I've been going through my own painful kind of twists and turns, and why have I chosen this path? I chose this path in 2015. I agonized it over for months, and in early 2016 I was like, okay, I'm going to start making a bit of a noise about this, because it feels like, however I knew I was going to be retarded by everyone who knew me, they'd be like, I